Hello everyone. This time is for real. We're actually starting. So this is it, nearly. It's been an exciting ride, I hope. Sometimes exciting, sometimes exhilarating, sometimes exhausting, and occasionally even exultant. One of the things that we are trying to do this year, and I've sort of used this vocabulary before, so forgive me, is we're trying to weave in the consortial work that is being done in parallel with the program and to weave it into the fabric of the conference itself. And in that spirit, we'll be asking AMICAL's 8 standing committees, of which 3 are new. They've met several times while they've been here today, and they've reflected on their accomplishments and they've planned for the coming year. They've gathered feedback from members and discussed among themselves. And all this work has been leading up to this moment. I would like to welcome you to the closing session of AMICAL 2016, or as I affectionately call it, the Committee-thon. You can now clap. Right, so what we'll be doing is this. Each committee chair will present for about 5 minutes, and then take questions from the audience for another 5 minutes. In total, that will be 10 minutes strict, because we have 8 committees, and we have an hour and a half in total, and Jeff would also like to speak at the end. So this is going to be a bit tight, and I'll try and manage this, and we'll see how it goes. We'll be inhabiting sort of a shared improvised world for the next hour and a half, so we'll be called to be attentive and good listeners, and to ask skillful questions. And as Jeff will mention at the end, this is only the beginning. We're using this as a springboard, for the coming year and for good things to come. Right, I can skip this part probably. That's fine. Right, so a final point for the committee chairs. I told this to some of you. Make sure to introduce your members at the beginning of the session. If you haven't planned to do this, please do. Okay, so give me a second to wrangle this thing. And I'd like to start with Elisabetta Morani of the EResources Committee.
Hello. In our committee...
No, give me a second, I need to wrangle the thing. Sorry.
You don't cut this, no?
What?
Okay, in our committee... there are 5 people, if I remember well. Rahid from Ephraim, Yvette, who was not present, from CCU, Rudaina from AUB, and who else? I don't remember. Me. We want more people. So please, if you want, help us. The committee has found it, our activities are strategic for the consortium, but plenty of difficulties. We have plenty of differences at all levels. Collections, budgets, timelines, procedures, regions that are applied from our vendors. So our first first goal is to find commonalities and learn a little more about our consortium membership. So one of the things that we want to do is to profile our institution according to the programs they offer and other details like if they can avail themselves with a regional consortium or not, budget ranges for electronic resources, and other details like timelines and so on. We will see that. We'll prepare a template to profile the institutions. Second, shorten the communication chain in order to speak. So we want to form a larger group of buyers, which means all the people that say yes or no when it comes to buy electronic resources. So the Electronic Resources Committee will work with them preferentially in fora, maybe with virtual fora, and also to discuss new proposals or something other things, and also to do specific training, professional development on issues that are related to the committee, like what is electronic resource usage and so on. We want to gather information on your friend vendors, because they will have to do a lot of work for us, and we want to select the most committed. Then, finally, We want to learn more about ourselves, as I told you. We will try to keep our data consistent and up to date. There is a request to create an open access subgroup. Rebecca volunteered for that, and I don't forget it. And then, last, our creature. We know that we want an innovative project from where to learn. And the innovative project will be evidence-driven acquisition with JSTOR. We're studying a proposal in which there is a very small commitment for each of the buying institutions, maybe around an average of 1,500 to 4,000. All the AMICAL members will start a sort of pilot that will also tell us how something about what we need and what we can learn. They're assisted by the JSTOR people that wanted to transform it in an experiment or something to publish on. So please think of committing a little bit of money for doing that. I think that it will help us a lot to develop further proposal of this kind. Done.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No sounds here, huh?
Okay, so, right, so, do I have to stand in front of the microphone or can I speak from back there?
You have to start with the.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're sort of opening the floor so people can ask questions for the Resources Committee, and Elizabeth will answer them, okay? And we have about 5 minutes for that, because you ran very fast. Right. Questions? Complete lack of questions?
The plan involves working a lot together with the other working groups. Benchmarking for, sorry, I'm just waiting for the questions. Benchmarking for how much do we spend in each institution. Professional development also. And even OCLC, because we will probably profile the institution through conspectus. You like it?
Well, I have a comment to make. I don't know if hello? I just have a comment to make about the Google Doc that was put together for the EResources. I don't know if everybody has seen it, but it really is excellent. And it shows what all of our AMICAL institutions subscribe to at the moment.
Oh yes, that is the master list that we want to keep up to date.
Yeah, it's excellent.
It'll take slightly too long to follow. You're right.
Also, comment in this slide, maybe this document should be posted on the AMICAL Connect and updated. It should be really updated on an annual basis because our lists change.
We're more ambitious than that. We want to revise it twice a year.
Okay, that's good.
3 times.
We can skip to the other groups at this point, I think.
Okay, so hopefully other people will.
In any case, whatever you need, feedback is always, we're always grateful for any feedback that you can provide. So continue across AMICAL Connect to provide feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
So, wait. Okay, so up next is Daphne Flanagan from the Institutional Research and Assessment Committee. Sorry. Face down.
Buonasera. Did I say it okay?
It's perfect.
Perfetto. Okay. Daphne Flanagan from the Institutional Research and Assessment Committee, and I am the chair for a little longer. Sanya, I think we all know her. She moved to another institution. She's in St. Petersburg now. And Stella just had a little baby boy, so she's out for a year on maternity leave. Our committee at the moment is Bushra. Are you here, Bushra?
Yeah.
Right here. Ekaterina, right here. Evie is not here, I think she had to catch a plane. And the new chair of this committee is Asma. I stepped down as chair after 2 years, so way to go, Asma. Okay. The things that this committee does, okay, what we're supposed to do is do an annual inventory of existing research and surveys that are funded by AMICAL. We also create a repository of that research and identify AMICAL assessment research that shows value and effectiveness, and promote and publish and publicize AMICAL research. This year, what we did, these are the things that we actually did accomplish this year. We set up our bylaws, even though Alex doesn't actually like the word bylaws, but we don't really know. We've drafted a questionnaire that we are going to be sending out to everybody to find out what kind of research you've been doing. We finalized a data and research sharing policy. We recruited 2 new committee members. And it's quite possible, if you have an interest in this area, if you would like, just talk to Asma after this meeting. And we developed research guidelines for authors and gathered all of the research together and put it onto AMICAL Connect. I don't know where it is right now. It has been moved. Maybe Alex could tell us where that data sits.
Let's do this in the question time. I can't actually touch
Okay.
it for that.
Okay. That would be my question.
Okay. Good question.
Okay. And we had a benchmarking workshop and 16 people showed up. So the future. I've already said that Asma is our new chair. That means don't email me, right? I know. Wait, were you invited? The questionnaire will be sent out. We've been asked to review any research projects that are submitted to the Small Grants Committee that are related to institutional research and assessment. So we will be doing that. We've also been asked to create some enthusiasm and to build an online peer community. So our strategy for doing that in the coming year is to build on what we saw in our benchmarking workshop. We saw a lot of interest from librarians to gather their library data and put it together as ACRL does with their data. So that will be one of our big initiatives for the year. So you will be hearing from us about that. And we'd also like to try to develop a workshop that's related to assessment. Our initial thoughts were to invite Megan Oakleaf to do a one-day workshop. And also we want to look at what EDUCAUSE is doing to bring EdTech and bring IT into this process as well. So perhaps the workshop could have a dual purpose. And I know that I am less than 5 minutes, and that's it. Thank you very much. And so the first question is, where is that data? Alex?
That data is in AMICAL Connect, but it's hidden because it doesn't look very good and some of the links weren't working very well. I need to, the plan for that is to move that stuff to the website, and I need to build like a little thing for it so that we can basically post it on the website, but so that it's not publicly available. So you would need to log in. So I sort of need to build like a little component to actually do that part, which we need for other reasons as well. So once I do that, we'll be able to post that. It's a couple weeks, a week, like something like that. It's not that complicated, and it will come. Is that okay?
Yep, thank you.
I'd like to.
Sandra.
Yeah, that's okay, but I'd like to volunteer for the assessment workshop because we've been working on assessment at LAU for about 2 years now, and
You mean you'd like to host it?
we can host it too, and and do the workshop myself with my staff. If
Okay,
it's okay with everybody, okay? And if you want to invite Megan, I have no problem, but we have the staff and we have the expertise, so we can do the work, okay?
okay, well,
Being AMICAL
yeah,
member also.
okay. I think that what we should do is talk about it as committee.
Okay.
So, you know, most of us are here, so thank you very much.
I think one approach to this is, I think Ryan is taking the mic, so I'll just let her.
Yeah.
I think we've just telepathically communicated.
Okay, so the question is, whose and how are you gathering institutional research data? Are you having like one representative from each institution, or are you doing your work?
Do you mean the last thing that I talked about, the ACRL data?
The hidden data.
Oh, yeah, that was something that was just collected from what we already knew. And what we're going to do is we created a questionnaire, but we haven't sent it out yet. And that will be going to each institution.
I have two questions. One is, maybe it's more for everyone. Do you have at your institutions ethical policy for research? I think it has different names, but how to conduct, because we are, since 2 years now, we have a vice president for research, but we don't have any policy like this, so this is something I have proposed to the administration. I'll be happy to hear what you're doing. I guess it's a document that can be easily found, open, but anyway, this is number one. And number two, when we talk about assessment, what level of assessment are we talking about?
What do you mean, what level?
Is it assessment of learning, assessment of program, assessment of institution, of what?
Well, the only thing that we've been talking about recently is assessment of libraries. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. And your first question, at AUS, we do have those policies in place. I don't know, how many other institutions have those kinds of policies in place? Show of hands?
My suggestion is to ask AMICAL Connect so that each institution can post the policies if they have them.
That's a good idea.
Good one. Is that it?
Can I ask a question?
Are you using LibQuad to collect the information? Like, what are the criteria that you are collecting the data?
You mean the library data? What we thought we would do is use the same kind of criteria that's being used by ACRL. They've already defined each data point perfectly, so why would we try to do anything differently?
I have another question or suggestion. So since you're involved with all the research related to or that are happening in the institution, maybe you can explore Giant and NREN. We know that AUB is now doing this. It's like a network for researchers for universities. So this is something that you can explore.
Okay, thank you. One more minute.
I have a last question.
Elizabeth.
How can I not write to you emails? Thank you, Daphne.
Okay, grazie.
Right, thank you. Right, so the next one up is Michael from the Information Literacy. Whoops, sorry. That was the previous one, guys. I can use this one. Do you want to sit and talk through this microphone?
Actually.
That's the one I can use. Hello, everybody.
Check, check. I'm well known not to talk too loud, so that's me, Michael. So let's start. So I'm the chair of the Information Literacy Committee. I have a wonderful team that's going to be right here, Dr. Rick, Casimir, Olivia, and Chris. They are fantastic. And so this is not working.
They are
actually. That's a sign. And so I want to quickly give feedback what we've done this year. So we started actually last year as a committee. It was not that we exist since 10 years. So we started 1 year ago to work together. And we started actually like preparing like the last AMICAL conference. We started doing focus groups on information literacy. And I'm going to show like a couple of images. So that's actually like on the left, we started talking about information literacy at AUDG. That was fantastic. And then we also had like, we gave some feedback. I think that was in December, we had like an online meeting where we invited the whole AMICAL committee to participate. We also went to Thailand as a team. We asked actually Jeff if there would be some money to go together as a committee. I believe that this is a very important thing actually to do for any committee committee building. And yeah, there was also Madeline, so that was fantastic actually to have her with us. She left right now to Seattle. She's in Seattle at the University of Seattle. And yeah, we enjoyed it, and I think that was also like very dynamic in a sense, or very important or benefit for the committee work. Because whenever then actually we met up like online, it's kind of, it's easier, so there's a chemistry going on. So that's good. And then basically I have like 2 slides where I actually have summed up like what we have done. I'm not going to go into details about this because otherwise I'm going to talk for 25 minutes. And so this is basically how we actually then met up. Maybe, I don't know what's to highlight. I think everything is important actually, so we try to keep on actually supporting information literacy activities within the AMICAL consortium. However, it's not always easy to reach out to everybody, I believe. That's something, how to stay connected. And I think there's also like a couple of questions we have actually for you guys. So it's not you, so that's maybe something. And but before coming to the questions, for the agenda 2016 and 17, we also have like this idea of a platform. I heard right now from other committees that there are already like kind of web pages or like kind of repositories or whatever. So it sounds to me that there's lots of mushrooms popping up all over. I don't know, maybe, we can create something new again right here. I don't know. Kind of philosophical question if we should do that. We also had like another discussion during the conference about the unit benefits of the AMICAL institutions. So I think that's also very important to think about why are we so special. I believe that's might be also like a benefit for us. And then actually we are thinking about online discussions kind of open up the microphone actually for the community where there might be maybe on a monthly schedule. The community could actually pick up the phone, not the phone, the microphone, and they could actually give feedback on what they're doing in terms of information literacy. I think that would be also like very good actually to have that kind of sharing, and it would maybe spark some creativity. I think that's, and we also have the idea of having a workshop. So we're going to be in direct competition with Daphne, and we're going to win. We're going to invite the whole ACL team, way better than Megan Hopefully. So that's our idea actually. So because again, I believe that, yeah, it's like the community, when we have this workshop coming together, something like very active, so that should be, so this is really like a very important process. And right now the questions we have for you. So it's your turn. And you can use either like the Padlet that we have got right here, or you can actually just like talk to us right away. So we'd actually like to know as well like what you would like us to work on, and how then should be that communication or that connection be with you. I think that's was the big problem actually, like to reach out sometimes, because there's so many different channels I have the feeling. And so I'm right around spot, so the audience are coming. Here we go. So any comments? Anything you want to know?
Yeah. Are you looking for more members?
No, we have 5 right now. I think it's 5. It's enough.
Okay.
It's actually the experience that we have right now after 1 year to meet up always all 5 members is kind of complicated. It's different time zones. So we have Georgia, we have like Yerevan. So it's kind of, and then I'm in Paris and Rome, so that's all this. So. But I said to a couple of people, anybody who's interested, like to just to meet up with us, there's no problem. It's always like the idea of an open door. Anything that's related or questioned with information that you see, so just write us an email and then.
I have a comment about the workshop on the IAM framework.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the new ACRN framework?
Yes.
I don't know if we should discuss this, but I don't know if this is applicable on our institutions.
I would say right away yes.
Okay.
I'm
already trying it. Okay.
So that, but there's like we can. That's my.
It was just a question.
But I think it's I think it's an opportunity and.
While you do the assessment workshop, call him and he will show you.
Okay. Send him an email.
Yeah, so that's. But again, like this, like my opinion, then it's like within the committee and also like an open discussion.
Okay.
And I think with AMICAL, and I think I was also inspired by the keynote, it's like that we always have like a local aspect to respect in a way and to listen to. And then, so we don't want to have like a global universal approach, so it's really like take account of the local aspects.
Yeah, because I see it in my point of view, I don't know, my point of view, it's very American, the new framework.
Yes, I have not thought about that. Maybe yes.
Well, there's something for you to discuss, I guess, and think about.
I think it's very interesting actually what you're saying, because you see I'm coming more like out of the Western hemisphere, and probably like somebody might maybe come out of the Middle East or like Africa might have a totally different opinion on that. And again, like this is like a very interesting input actually to see that. But I think we have not mentioned that during our conversation so far.
Okay.
Can I very briefly step in and take a bit of your time? I think that this kind of conversation, that's what the kind of thing that we're trying to do with AMICAL Connect, is to be able to have these kinds of conversations, whereas the committee itself can remain small and they can make decisions and they can move forward and they're able to be effective and efficient. But at the same time, there is a space in which we can have sort of consortial and large scale conversations with many members that are not directly involved with the committee. So I think that is where I would try and direct this kind of conversation. So it doesn't happen in email, it happens out in the open and other people can interface with it. Sorry, I tried to do that quickly. And this is actually also like a very good topic for our monthly meetings, I believe. Bring it up. I talked like to a couple of people already like about Easy Generator, maybe like continue that discussion. There was also like a very interesting discussion this morning about student generated works. And we didn't have enough time to look at a few things. So I invited then actually like the people to use that space actually and then have that conversations. And it would be like something where it should be like it should be a win-win situation, of course. So we actually, with the sharing, we're gonna learn and the person can obviously running a workshop or like an online discussion.
Michael, do you have documents that we can see about what you have elaborated about the special benefit, the unique benefits of AMICAL members?
Not so far. We have written up some notes, but from the website.
Where do you plan to put them?
Well, that's a good question actually. It's maybe we're gonna have to involve Alex on that, because in a way we don't want to do like an extra thing on the side again, but something coherent.
This will nourish the whole community.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's very important.
Yes, actually, I wanted to go quickly to the patent. Actually, let's quickly. Some people actually. About 1 second. Just to see. They're coming.
Okay,
The
give
aliens.
9 minutes.
Okay, you've mistyped it, it's okay. He's trying to link to a Padlet where they're trying to get some feedback. I propose we just
Do that at the end.
we'll just post some notes after the session. We'll do like a collective post and connect with some of the links that came up that perhaps we won't get to because we're moving at this rate, and I think that will just be the simplest thing. Is that
Sorry
okay?
about that, maybe some other people already posted that we can do that at the end.
Okay, and yeah, it's slashes, something with the keyboard. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Right. Up next we have, sorry, my notes are, yeah. Sindera Habre from the OCLC committee.
Hello everyone, I'm Sindela from the Lebanese American University. I chair the OCLC Respond Committee, and the members in the committee are Elisabetta, Thomas Hodges, he's not with us today, Jeff, hi Jeff, and Joy. Hi Joy. Okay. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our vision and the charge and what are we planning to do. Okay. The vision of this committee is we recognize that OCLC Cooperative is instrumental for our libraries in terms of delivering cutting-edge services to our communities, and those are services for the members that are in the Respond project. I'm going to repeat them: INN, collection evaluation, WorldCat connection, cataloging, content GM, WorldCat, the discovery service. So there are all very well products and state-of-the-art products, I could say. By using these services, we secure that the visibility, especially in WorldCat, if we put our holdings in WorldCat, we increase the visibility of AMICAL collection, and we secure the value for our money also. Furthermore, the analytical tools provide a showcase to our collection holdings. Okay, the charge of the committee is that we will foster and facilitate members' participation in WorldCat mainly, as well as other products and activities. We're going to promote and monitor the regular upload of the records into WorldCat. Our agreement says 3 times a year we have to batch load our records. I shouldn't say have, but it's really very important that you batch load your records 3 times a year. Also, provide best practices of using OCLC services through using AMICAL Connect to reach a comprehensive use of these services. Look for opportunities to participate in the OCLC research projects, and who, if you attended this morning's session with Titia, they are really considering a research, an OCLC research project with AMICAL institution. Our short-term task is to analyze feedback from member survey. We had sent a survey earlier in order to offer the appropriate training for members, whether face-to-face or through webinars. We are, whoever is expert in something in OCLC services is willing to go and give the training face-to-face. By the way, today I received an email from Rosanna, and she said that there will be a WebEx training for each of the 4 response services run from the Sheffield office in mid-June. So put it in your calendar. We're going to send an email about that when the date is appointed. We will meet 3 times a year to monitor those tasks, and we are thinking of convening virtually with the members of the Respond project to get feedbacks and also tell them what we are doing, put them in picture. And that's it. Any questions? Yes.
Yes, you're awesome.
Yeah, Cinderella, Respond is a very unique and very good program. But our problem in Pakistan is that multiple. Geographically, we are out of the EMEA region, the only one library, okay? In the time zone, we are the far west, okay? So when the webinars happen, mostly it's midnight in our country, so we can't have it collectively as a staff. I mean, we have some unique problems, technical, technological, geographical. Most of the programs are actually programmed for the EMEA region, and you guys are nearer. Everyone else is in the EMEA, but we're not. We're out of it. So I'm just asking, how did you tackle this issue? We are seriously suffered. We can't upload batches. We can't. We have many problems.
Joy.
Typically, the OCLC webinar will be recorded. So if you register to the session and if you can attend at the time, you get the recording and you can read anytime. But that's why we also want to offer if we can help
If
out.
we can help out, we're willing to, right, Jeff?
Can I
We're
ask?
willing to go on site and do as much as we can to train you or somebody else in whatever service product that you want. Plus, I will mention to Rosanna that to take into consideration your time zone and your geographic area, maybe they will have one webinar for you only. Okay?
Yes.
I will mention that to Rosanna.
That is what I wanted to add. The mission of the committee is to facilitate you. So if you ask specific needs, we can address them.
Okay.
As formerly with OCLC, I'd like to just emphasize to the group that one of the underutilized benefits of Respond and your association with OCLC is OCLC research. Many of the things that have been talked about by the committees here fall within the area of a good research project that OCLC, which may be applicable in other geographic areas with other libraries, and you should all keep in mind that and maybe work with Asma in that committee so that your research, OCLC can help participate in that research. You know, they pay for it, they provide staff for it, they provide the publication vehicle for it, so there is no reason why you shouldn't come up with, 3-4 ideas, pitch them to Titya and Lorcan Dempsey, the head of research, and it's a wonderful opportunity to a way to get your research off the ground.
Well, this morning, Titya and Rosanna, I don't want to say promised something, but they said something about running a research about the uniqueness of AMICAL institution. So hopefully they will take this seriously, and it's a start. It is a starting point. If we start with one research project with OCLC, probably I'm sure that things will go further from there. So Titya is really thinking about the uniqueness of this institution, of this organization, and she would like to do some research about that. Any other questions? I'd like really to stress the importance of updating your holdings in WorldCat. Without your holdings in WorldCat, we cannot benefit from all the other products, especially when it comes to the collection evaluation product. ILL, also interlibrary loan, also copying, copy cataloging. I mean, you will save so much money and so much time, and your workflow will totally change when it comes to cataloging. All you have to do is add your copy information. That's it. I mean, you have to do it. And if you need help, let us know, and we'll help you in doing the batch loading. Okay, I know some systems are not directly connected to WorkCat. We at NAU, we do in our ILS system, we do direct real-time uploading. Okay, we used to do it in the old days, batch loading. We used to batch load our records on a monthly basis, send them by emails to OCLC, but on a monthly basis. This is a very important task that we should all think about and put it in our list to do and make it as a priority. You need help? Let us know. Thank you.
If you have good examples of work,
If you have good examples of workflows, please send it to us. We will take care of putting them into AMICAL Connect. Because one of the things that the people that are not that accustomed to these services cannot figure out is how to use them. So we want to produce examples for that.
Any comments? Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, up next is Stephen Orgola from the Digital Collections Committee.
Hi everybody, I'm Steve Regola from the American University in Cairo. And in line with the Roman theme of this conference, our committee, the Digital Collections Committee, is more of a triumvirate. I will let my colleagues on the committee introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Ryder Koba, the Digital Collections Archivist at AUC.
And I'm Dimitra Papapasandilu from ACC, American College of Greece. I'm the college archivist.
So over the last few days, it's become apparent that there's a lot of potential for building digital collections at AMICAL institutions. We've learned about collections that already exist. We've learned about potential library holdings that could be digitized and made into collections. And we've learned a lot about the potential of digital scholarship projects by faculty and by students that could be that could produce digital collections. So over the last few days and in previous meetings, our committee has come up with the following roles or functions. This is what we envision for the committee. First, the committee would serve as a focal point for digital collections ideas for AMICAL. So in that vein, we plan to showcase some of the collections that our member institutions already have available. So one of the examples would be what was showcased from Iraq at one of the sessions at this conference. But also talk about the kinds of collections, the sort of potential projects that are out there. Maybe say, hey, if you've got a faculty member doing oral history, those recordings, the digital recordings, could be the basis for a digital collection. So we plan to use AMICAL Connect for this role. We'll use it to gather information and also to highlight collections that are out there. And we are planning to do a webinar sometime later this summer or early in the fall that showcases the collections that are out there. Second, our committee wants to be an information clearinghouse. We will be willing to offer guidance to members who request it as they come up with digital collections ideas or need information about how to go about creating a digital collection. We also want to make available best practices information. And again, AMICAL Connect will be the main source for that. And then finally, the committee will be a link to funding sources. We'll be giving some advice to member institutions who are applying for the AMICAL small grants. And we'll also serve as a resource for the coordinating committee as they make their decisions in awarding those grants. We plan to take a limited role in securing or seeking information about outside fundraising for digital collections projects. For example, it was brought up by Doris Jones. One potential role we could take is to lobby CLIR, the Council for Library and Information Resources, which a couple of years ago changed their funding guidelines, which no longer allow for funding of collections that are physically held outside the United States. And that's something that definitely works against AMICAL institutions, and we could lobby them to change their guidelines. So these are some ideas about the roles of the new committee, the new Digital Collections Committee. We're open to any questions and any input you might have about what we could do for you and what we could work on together. Yes, Kim?
It's not so much a question as it is a comment about the work that I do with the digital collections at AUC. I teach audio production courses and media writing courses, and I often have my students produce interviews, and those interviews are then housed in the archives at the university, and we create not just a student collection, but a collection specifically for the projects that my students work on. And another example, I know because I think, I'm saying this because I think a lot of people think that these kinds of archives are just for photos and for theses and things like that, but I've begun to use this resource because oral histories and audio archives are very important. And when my students work on their audio documentaries, they do lots of interviews. And what do they do with those interviews after? They kind of just go to waste. But someone else may find value in those raw interviews. So I have the students upload the raw interviews as well as the completed audio documentary along with the script. So it really has created, over the past 7 years I've been there, it's created a real rich source for students to go back and see what their predecessors did to create this audio database as a part of our archival. So thank you.
Yeah, and our relationship with Kim is an example of the kind of library-faculty relationship that can really be beneficial in building digital collections. Yeah?
Hold on, there's a microphone coming.
Do you intend to collect like standards and policies and workflows for people who are starting digital projects and like recommend tools and platforms, because we did suffer a lot, and I think it's this is how we can learn from each other. Like if you are starting a project for oral history and you want to use a software, so just ask other people and you might get feedback.
Sure. We do plan to gather that kind of information and make it available. Again, we'll work with Alex about seeing how we can use AMICAL Connect and other services of AMICAL to do that.
Are we done?
Great. Thank you.
On the final stretch. Okay, so next up is David Risley from the Digital Scholarship Committee.
Hey everybody, this is my first AMICAL, so it's kind of a woo, right? Cool experience. So my committee members, we have Mark from AUC who's not with us, and we have Rayanne from AUB, my colleague from Beirut, Elizabeth from Iraq, and Alex. So we're a new committee, right? The sort of new kids, we're one of the new kids on the block, and so we spent some time in the last couple of weeks trying to figure out what exactly it is that we want to do. For those of you who don't know what digital scholarship is, I think the conversation began to emerge, right? This particular AMICAL, from what I understand, vis-a-vis previous ones, I think we saw in Lori's talk, we saw some really interesting examples, right, of digital projects that she took on when she was at Haverford. We talked a little bit about that, Ryan and myself, in the Birds of a Feather, and talking about faculty learning communities for digital humanities. We saw a couple of examples of that from the posters, from different specific research projects that both take on digital materials, create digital materials, and then publish their materials in digital formats, right? So it's a kind of a new collation, right, of thinking about scholarly research. So the unconference, we also had a little bit of that in Eric's talk. We saw some other examples, right? So a lot of different places. So the Digital Scholarship Committee has actually been kind of going without actually being called that for some time, right? We had a group that went to Iliad's in Hamilton, New York last year, which is a summer event for specifically digital scholarship in the context of liberal arts institutions. We also have some projects that are going on at AUC and then some at the AUB. So what the committee is really interested in doing is promoting knowledge about what digital scholarship is, and I think we did a good job of jump-starting at this particular conference. Supporting people who want to get such kinds of projects off the ground, and kind of what we decided was a kind of a matchmaking service. So if you saw me sort of pulling people together over the last couple of days, Robbie, right? The idea is to sort of recognize where there are some synergies between librarians, technologists, faculty members, and others who would be interested perhaps in working both intra-institutionally and inter-institutionally. So digital scholarship is really about kind of collective project-based incremental scholarship, and it's hard to get started in it. You have to sort of start really small, and from small pieces allow all the members of a group to kind of build competencies and work together. So we're thinking about, first of all, asking you, we need to know what it is that you would like to know how to do. I think some names and things came up at this particular conference, learning how to make digital exhibits, for example, learning how to do digital mapping, learning how to pull together archives in that kind of a context, mining social media, mining text bases, this kind of thing. And so I'm interested to know from you, the committee is interested in knowing from you what you think would be most helpful for us to do. But we are thinking about some virtual webinars, some virtual opportunities to learn about tools, to learn about environments, to learn about just more about what kind of digital scholarship is already out there in the world. The second thing that we'd like to do is to be a kind of a guidance figure, right? Like kind of take on some ideas, be a contact point for people who might be interested, push them in the direction on more a one-on-one basis. We'd also like to think about offering some face-to-face training. So one of the ideas that's come up is something maybe preceding the next AMICAL conference, a little bit of hands-on with one particular environment to learn. We've already identified some teachers, some potential teachers in the room. And the other thing, I think the last thing that we thought about doing is trying to carve out a little bit of space at the next AMICAL conference, like a track or maybe lightning talks, right, of people who are actually thinking about such projects and who are at different stages of development, for them to learn together from where they are. So just really very quickly in the room, we already have the prompts from the Arab World Project, right, that Iman and Maha from AUC have been working on. Somebody came forward, and I'm not going to say her name, but her name is Shannon, and she was interested in 18th and 19th century travelers to Italy, and she was kind of inspired by a mapping and kind of like student course embedded project. Another person I'm not going to mention the name of, but it's Antonio and Kathleen from John Cabot came forward and were thinking about climate, like how you could talk about climate change and geopolitics of media and to do some mapping projects. Not that they're going to do that project, but they're going to, right? And then Robbie, and I matched up Diana and Robbie because they were talking about app building and how app building might be a productive kind of thing to do, working around a campus to get crowd information, right, about a campus and what a campus might want to imagine for itself to be, for its own future. So, and then I have my little project, which I talked about during my poster. So that's where we are, and we're really interested to hear from you what you think you would like to do. Thanks.
Questions, ideas, elucidations? You're all starting to become sleepy.
It's new, too. I mean, digital scholarship is a new conversation, and so I think what we need to keep open, we're going to have a spot on the AMICAL Connect for people to contact the committee, and if you have some ideas to think about, you know, it's something, digital scholarship is something you you want to start big, but that your instinct is to start big because that seems like the kind of question that people would be interested in. And it's actually the opposite way that's better, to start small and to see what kinds of synergies between people can start up. So, but it's a scary new conversation, exciting new conversation.
All right, so if you have any follow-up questions. Okay, so the second to last is the penultimate. Penultimate committee is Lisa Rafa for the Digital Pedagogy Committee. Sorry.
We don't have a lot of slides. Our committee chair is Maha Bali, who's not here. She was here with us yesterday. She flew in and out in one day to meet with us. She's amazing. Could the other committee members just stand up all at once so that people can see you? Nadine, Diane, and Jasmina is not here either with us. Angie, Robbie, and I'm Lisa. So we're a brand new committee. We don't have anything to report yet from the past. We all met up, some of us work on the same campuses, so 2 people from Cairo, 2 from Beirut. But as a group, we all got to know each other in Cairo at the Digital Pedagogies Lab, which I think was in March, but that's water under the bridge. It was in March. So we are a new group, and we have had a lot of opportunity for conversation there, a lot of opportunity for conversation here, and I think our work has a lot of overlap with especially digital scholarship, has a lot of overlap with digital collections. So, but there are a lot of people here saying, let's continue the conversation, and that's really our, okay, that's what we want to do. We want to continue the conversation. Our official charge is to create peer community around digital pedagogy, to create professional development around digital pedagogy, and maybe to help spend some of the money that AMICAL has to support digital pedagogy projects. And one of the things we talked about is how those things all feed each other. So knowing that they feed each other, and with the idea that we want to start somewhere, and that there's a lot of expertise in this room and in this network. We didn't get big ideas about face-to-face events or inviting people in. We just said, let's start creating structures for sharing what we know or using the existing structures. So some ideas we have are one-time webinars, and we've got a list of topics that we want to share with you. At that bit.ly link is a survey for you to just express your interest. We talked about some asynchronous learning opportunities that will set up learning activities that we'll set up and invite people into. An example of that is that Maha and I think Hoda do a Twitter scavenger hunt to teach their students about Twitter, and some of us, including me, are not really good Twitter users. So for people in the AMICAL network who want to do that, Maha has said she'll set it up with us as her students. So we've got some asynchronous projects, learning activities, some one-time webinars, and then we've talked about ongoing conversation, follow-up to the webinars through AMICAL Connect, follow-up on some things we don't have time for in webinars through AMICAL Connect. We really want to use the existing structure. So kind of topical things. And then some ongoing webinars that we've talked about doing, like a monthly get-together for people who are in the work of faculty development to just show up, drop in, and talk about whatever is up. So those are the things we're thinking about right now. There have just been incredible conversations this week, so we just want to support those, and we don't mind meeting online. We know how to make it fun. So if we can go.
Oh, no, sorry.
Whoops.
You want to go to the...
Yeah, I just want to go to...
I can do it.
Okay, it's here.
Okay.
So it's that tab.
So you've set this up much better than I thought.
Thanks. So this is our survey. Although Alex, you can scroll down a little bit so we don't have so much blue header. We will post this in AMICAL Connect, and we're asking you, out of all these things we've talked about doing, which is basically members of this network sharing what they know, which ones are most interesting to you, and we'll just prioritize that way. And as you can see, one of the things that are on here is about students' digital projects and assessing them, which isn't exactly the same as digital scholarship, but I do think that there's some overlap. So we'll work that out. So please log in, find this survey. I mean, not log in. Please get online, find this survey. You can do that now, or you can do it later. And we can also. The reason I wanted to show these is we can take questions about what do some of these mean if people want. I think I'm done. Am I forgetting anything? Okay. Questions or comments?
For the digital pedagogy folks? No?
Oh, yeah, we can.
What I'm going to do for the links is I'm going to grab all of them and just post them on AMICAL Connect, because there's going to be there's been Michael's, there's been Elisa's, there's going to be one for the Professional Development Committee, so I'm just going to pull them all there. Demetrius has also been doing some stuff for the conference and the reporting, so I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, and we'll just wrap that up all there so it's available for everyone. Right, and last but not least, I would like Ryan Fayed to come for the Professional Development Committee.
So, hi everyone. Alex, can you help me with the thing?
The thing.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ryan, and I'm from AUB, American University in Beirut. I'm going to let my friends introduce themselves first.
Gisèle Palpétian from the Lebanese American University in Beirut, Lebanon.
Okay, so in addition to Giselle and Ekaterina, we have Mahabali, who's not with us. She's also on the committee. Well, our main work is, first of all, to crawl into all the committee's work and try to gather all what they're doing. We have big dreams. Jeff has a lot of money. And we have you. Okay, and we have you. So this is what makes our work succeed. Basically, our mission can be divided into two parts. Can we open the infographic? Just not the surprise.
Not the surprise,
Not
okay.
the surprise. Okay. So we need to zoom in. Okay, and scroll up.
It's like I'm a child. No, I'm getting it.
Okay, so the mission or our main goals can be divided into two parts. First of all, try to find professional development opportunities for everyone on the personal level and on the consortium level. And the second one is to act as liaison with the other committees to try to centralize the professional development initiatives in one place and make it easier for everyone to know what's going on. One thing that we can do is, of course, find opportunities, but we cannot do this without you. So what we did is we developed a needs assessment survey. We sent it out before the conference. It was a short notice, so we're going to keep it open after the conference, and Alex is going to help us to announce it again. We already have data, but we're announcing the analysis of the data later on. But one thing which is impressive, one of the questions asked if you're ready to give training to other members. And out of 23 respondents, we have 19 who showed readiness, which is great. Okay, so this is what we need. And one thing that Sandrella mentioned also, she volunteered to give a session, which we're thankful for you, and we need more of this. So instead of finding other opportunities out there, everything is found here. I'm sure that we have great brains here. We're all ready and we have the skills to offer training to others, and this is how I think AMICAL will grow. Okay? So after the needs assessment, I'm gonna talk about what we've been doing in the past. So before we compiled like the calendar of events or the list of professional development events, and we organized a couple of webinars. One of them was on digital humanities. But this year we're trying to shift focus. Instead of simply finding professional development opportunities, we're gonna work together with other committees to do this. So we're gonna run the needs analysis, of course, and we're gonna work with Alex to work on the platform, not only to communicate with each other, but to find a way to, like a venue, to list all the events that are happening, a very easy and user-friendly way to do this. We're gonna try to find a way to rate those events, so if I attend, let's say, an event this year, someone else is interested to attend the event next year, they can see the rating. So we hope that Alex can do this for us. And last, which is really important for us, is to find a way to give certifications and online badging, open badges, for people who are really active, not only attending professional development events, but also collaborating on projects. Okay, did I miss anything?
Nope.
Okay, so the first step to do is to have a conference call with all the committees, whoever is interested in. This is the only way for us to know what other committees are working on. So we'll be announcing this after the conference. And before I stop talking, I just want to show what Giselle has prepared. This is like a conclusion. And before I pass on to Jeff. So Alex, if we can open the two videos.
For what it's worth, we're going to go over time in your speaking part, but since we've been running, other people have been running short, I think it's okay.
It's only 1 minute. The second.
In which order shall I open them?
Second and first.
So that's the one that I have as the first one?
No, the second.
Okay, so that's the first one.
Yes.
Okay. What is about to happen?
So this is Giselle. You can guess.
Oh my. Sorry. It keeps doing.
Yeah, it's looping. It just.
And there's more?
Just.
Okay.
So this is maybe you can.
So hello everyone. We are here in the bus with Giselle, and we are discussing my first conference with AMICAL, and I just shared with her the fact that it was very exciting for me because of the lovely people I've met, because of the warmth of the people, but also the fact that we shared so much knowledge and we learned so much from each other. So looking forward to seeing everybody next year. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, so that's it.
Thank you.
Questions?
Can we put this on Twitter?
Yeah.
Both of them.
Sure. I need to deliver that.
No questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since we have a movie about AMICAL now, we need a song. Do you have any suggestions?
It has to be Middle East.
It has to be Middle East?
Because you have to dance on it.
Okay, if you don't have, I have a bit. Questions? Non-video and film and song dancing related questions? Those are fine as well. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
had words to say, but I don't think I can top that, so I'm just gonna skip the words. The bit I wanted to say is that, as you may have been noticing, we're sort of trying to pull a lot of communication towards AMICAL Connect. And as I said briefly, I'll touch base with all of the committees that have been talking right now that have online links to things. I'll post them up there. Dimitris told me that he had asked the conference leaders or members, okay, the conference leaders to provide sort of reports on their own sessions, what happened in these kinds of things, and we'll be posting them in Connect as well. The idea was maybe to include them in this session, but we weren't able to fiddle that. Although we are trying to do this sort of consolidate consortial communication, whether it's for discussion or for collaboration on AMICAL Connect. A question that came up as we were talking is, okay, so I have a question for Rayan that I was slightly tired and dazed and confused to ask in the closing session. So how can I ask this question? The answer is, walk to the other microphone. Whoops. I'll bang into the other microphone is what I'll do. The question is, I did this briefly and I'm pretty sure it works. On the AMICAL website, there's a contact page, which you get to by clicking on contact. This used to you were just able to contact basically AMICAL administration, that's me and Jeff. There's now a happy drop-down menu here, and you can choose the committees that are existing. And if you choose any committee, you can type your name, you can type your email, you can type your message, and you can send the message along, and that will send an email to a committee chair of the respective committee. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a good enough solution for the moment. So if you have questions, tonight, tomorrow, the next week, in the next couple of weeks, until we try and wrangle. Whoops. I think it is. So that's a temporary solution. Right. Let me close that. And I'm gonna say some of these words. And I know your hands must be weary at this point, but I just wanted to say that we should really give this next person a very, very loud clap. Jeff Gima, welcome.
Giselle, thanks for that amazing video. That's great. I think we're going to end on time, and I really don't want to screw that up, so I'm going to cut out a few things that I was going to say. But one thing, and I'm going to blame Michael for this because he started talking about asking Jeff for money, and that's not what happens. There's a committee that reviews the grant proposals, and I'll just mention that there are the two kinds of resources, financial resources, the two funded program areas that we have for funding the kinds of projects people are talking about on the small grant program. And the budget for professional development at the group level, so workshops and webinars that reach more than one member institution. And there's a committee that reviews the proposals that come in for those, and that's at this point it's the coordinating committee that's handling those. So Michael, don't talk about asking Jeff for So let me skip to this. The last three committees that spoke represent critical areas that we identified with our current Mellon grant to work on between 2015 and 2018. The digital collections, digital scholarship, and digital pedagogy, these were critical areas that we said we were going to try and focus on. And I wanted to just sort of bring, those of you that have been with the consortium for a few years, you might remember that we actually started talking about, started giving the conference focus on digital humanities in 2010. We had a conference that had a focus on that. We brought in Thorny Staples, who was involved in some of the early projects, some major projects related to digital humanities. And I remember thinking that Thorny was talking about this 30,000-foot level, these amazing ideas that he was communicating to us. And so looking around the room and realizing that I don't think anyone was really at a point where we could connect with what was being talked about. And the great thing this year is that I'm seeing concrete projects being, even if we're not working on them, we don't have them in hand yet, but there's concrete projects that people are coming up with and talking about working on. And that's a huge difference from the conversations that we were having in 2010, when this first became a topic here in AMICAL. So conferences are for connecting people. And there were two goals related to building these connections that we had in setting up the conference. One was facilitating new connections between colleagues, both within AMICAL, but also between AMICAL members and others. We've had several guests at the conference the past few days from outside of AMICAL. It's been really interesting to make those connections with the American Academy in Rome, with Ashesi University, and with the College of Worcester, the Global Liberal Arts Alliance. And so that's been great to have these new connections being built as well. Another goal related to building those connections has been to capture the conversations and the ideas that are being shared here, to make them visible beyond the conference. So beyond this group that's here physically, but also beyond the time of these 3 days. And so I guess I want to point in particular to this project that Alex has been putting together for us at AMICAL Connect. Everything that we've been talking about, we haven't managed to have much activity on Connect the past 3 days, which is normal because everyone's been incredibly busy. But we're going to be doing everything we can to sort of anchor these conversations we've been having, sort of connect them to Connect, get them visible there so that we can bring in other people that were not here physically, and also to be able to come back to those, to refer back to them, to search through AMICAL Connect, because sometimes questions come up that I think this person doesn't realize that actually this has been talked about for years within AMICAL, and there are all these resources that we've built up over time. Alex, I don't know if you saw this question I asked you earlier, but do you know how many posts there are roughly on Connect? Because when we launched the new AMICAL Connect, there was about 4 years of archives of conversations that you brought forward really skillfully, actually, because they kept their sort of the topical organization of the posts from our previous version of this forum.
Depending on how you count, somewhere between 500 and 1,300. I'm not quite sure what the number is.
Okay,
well, I think it's probably a little over 500 posts, topics, but there's like a number of posts underneath them.
There's a lot of posts there. So when you have a topic that you're thinking about, you want to get advice from other members, don't forget to search what's there too. There's years of exchanges that are there that form a resource for us. I think I'm just going to say thanks at this point. I really want to thank the communities that have been sharing what they've been doing. We sent out an email a few weeks, I think, before the conference, outlining what we were expecting the communities and the chairs to do. And you guys are probably going like, oh crap, we're going to have to really work. So I'm sorry for the late notice for that, but it's worked out really well. I'm really excited to see what's been accomplished the past few days by the communities. So thank you to all of you. I want to thank the lead volunteers that we recruited to help with all the coordination of the logistics and everything. Omar and Ivana and Chayan, thank you very much. Thanks to Ahmad for the webcasting that's going on right now. Let's get to it. Do you have interest for coordinating our conference and our social media activity? And thanks to Alex for inspiring and coordinating the committee element of this event, for all the communications and web resources, and like 5 million other things related to the conference. Thanks to Gianluca and Daniele for their amazing and a huge thanks to Francisca and to Rosa for their an extremely difficult task. There were a lot of little things that came up, and you guys dealt with it really gracefully. Thank you so much. See you in Thessaloniki.
Yeah.